Usually, face-to-face weigh-in is a very brutal and important before a fight, but not for Sean O'Connell. Every time he turns it into a little show. Here, he gives a bouquet of flowers to his rival, and the rival treats him with sweets. Maybe a date instead of fight. But not always O'Connell's treats can cheer up an opponent. In this weigh-in, Sean decided to blow some bubbles, but this move did not affect the stern attitude of the second fighter. Maybe he is allergic.
Can we get you to bet you'll eat your shoe, Brian?
Fighter Marcus Perez carefully hid his face before going on stage, because as it turned out he made himself a Joker makeup. It was a pretty bright performance and a good move as psychologically attack on your opponent.
Marcos Maluco.
The model at the weigh-in is clearly not used to seeing men without outerwear, and Alistair Overeem's powerful torso caused her undisguised delight. It seems, with one approach to the scales, the fighter instantly increased his fan base. Fighters Jones and Johnson decided to prank host Dana White and pretend that they had a fight. Dana believed and claimed to separate these two big guys, but after a few seconds he understood everything and laughed. Alright, the place of fight is only in the ring. Dana White has vast experience in weigh-in and face-to-face, but he is clearly not ready for everything. It can be understood. Hardly be expected that one of the fighters tend to switch and scream. A funny way to be remembered.
Fucking did it to me again. Thank you.
It seems the fighter confused the opponent and turned close to the model at the weigh-in. It is clearly understandable. You want to look at such a beautiful girl much more than at a huge man who wants to fight with you. Instead of sternly looking at each other, you can carefully bring homemade cakes with you in a container and treat everyone. Maybe the fighter Mercy added something there, but we will believe in the best.
This is a good thing.
Oh! Muffin time!
Oh, what a dirty trick! The fighter stripped down to his underpants, suddenly pulled out a heating pad from there, threw it into the hands of the man behind, and the guy didn't even have time to think about before catching it. However, the audience was clearly delighted. By the way, for some reason he didn't put the heating pad aside. Weigh-in before women's fight can also take place unexpectedly. Here on face-to-face one of the fighters came as close as possible to the opponent and kissed her. Well, can you really fight after this? One more moment with a kiss, but now at the men's weigh-in. Here, the second fighter clearly didn't count on tenderness, because security could barely stop him from starting the fight right now. But the fighter who decided to kiss is clearly satisfied with everything. Fighters do not always come across the same height at the weigh-in, and sometimes the brutal face-to-face looks very comical. For example, as in this situation, when one fighter is head taller above the other, and the second has to lift his head strongly to look his opponent in the eyes. One more weigh-in of fighters not equal in height. Only here a tall fighter entered the position and decided to help the kid by taking him in his arms, and the friendly atmosphere shows that he did not rehearse any kind of painful hold. One of the sweetest way in. Instead of menacing looks, the two athletes began to dance together, and even as if they were rehearsing this number. But everything turns out like in a nightclub. First you dance, and then you fight.
This weekend. Now look at these two young ladies having fun up there dancing. I would not want...
On way in, it is necessary to use all the advantages. This is exactly what this fighter thinks, unexpectedly taking out his phone and decided to make a selfie with a beautiful model. This is no time for fights when a romantic date comes up. This fighter went further than Perez and painted not only his face, but also the whole body, by recreating the image of another comic book hero, the Hulk. Like a monster, the athlete effectively tore his jersey on himself, but it seems that he caused only embarrassment for the models from behind. Unexpected sounds at the way in can amuse not only Dana White, but also the formidable Khabib Nurmagomedov. The truth is, when you do this with Khabib, you need to be afraid that in the ring you can get knocked out with the same sound.
Woo!
And a little more positive Sean O'Connell at last. On one of the way in, he brought pizza with him and treats his rival. Maybe he just wanted to add a couple of extra pounds to him. Anyway, it is great when fighters are as fun about way in as Sean. That is all for today, guys. Subscribe and likes. Thank you. See you later.